or I didn't, the snake I caught wasn't the right snake, or I don't know, whatever it is, whatever the ritual is. Um, I believe that we are given through our lives, whether we ask for it or not, everything we need to become more than what we are. We're not going to like it in most cases because, well, the path isn't comfortable. If you got everything you wanted, I, when I was growing up, you remember the family name Halliburton. Halliburton was the guy that built all the stuff, and war machines, all that stuff. I knew his kids. The two most unhappy, miserable heroin addicts, as a matter of fact, people on this planet. They were, because they got everything they possibly could want at the snap of a finger. Well, actually, before they even snapped their finger. So if you got everything you wanted every minute of the day before you even asked for it, it was just there. You turn around and something, that's right, I wanted that. You would be absolutely miserable in about an hour. You might have a really good 1 hour, but it's because we need, if we're not growing, we're dying. I don't know else how to put it. We're either expanding and growing and becoming more than what we are, or we're regressing and shrinking and becoming less than what we were. We're shriveling away. And, a closed heart is a shriveled heart. And it creates a shriveled life. We all know people, as they've gotten older, that have literally become recluses in their rooms. And they become bitter, angry people. And they're in hell. Literally hell on earth. And honestly, the only one to blame for that is them. Unfortunately, they took themselves down that path by not trying to figure out what it was that would truly make them happy. And maybe they need to go through that. Maybe that is their purpose. Because remember, when we look at everything and everything is interconnected, we have multiple roles as individuals. We think of ourselves as unique and separate, and what we do is consciously decided, and the reactions come back. Whatever we do, there's a reaction. But honestly, we're here in many roles. We just don't realize that. We're teachers and we're students. The bum on the street is a teacher. That person doesn't know it, but they're teaching you a lesson. As you walk by and you go, oh gosh, I don't want to be that way. He's teaching you something. He doesn't know he is, but he is. And each one of us have multiple roles in this world. Everything we do has a reaction with someone. And it's a different reaction. That's the curious thing is, if I were to go do something good in this community, well, the reaction to that could be all over the map with anyone who became aware of it. Some people might think I was doing the wrong thing. Some people would think I was doing the right thing. Some people would think I'm an idiot for doing it, that it has no purpose, So each time we do anything, we are this multifaceted thing that is causing a reaction in everything around us on every level. Physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, energy, I don't know, everything. It's amazing when you think about it. Sometimes I imagine myself, like as I'm walking, that every time I move, that there's ripples going out from my motion, and that my words have ripples, and so everything that I do has a reaction all around me, And in truth, that's true. I'm walking down the street, I'm breathing out carbon dioxide. The tree next to me is breathing it in. And I'm breathing in the oxygen that it put out. So I have a relationship with that tree that I don't even know about. Everything is like that. Everything. We think of ourselves as ending at our skin, but on a molecular level, the scientists will tell you that, we share things as we touch them, as we interact with them. There is a boundary, but that boundary is fuzzy. The more we can sort of view ourselves this way, the larger we are, the more expansive we are. And the more, again, it's this idea of I'm not alone in the world. Sometimes we think nobody cares, or we feel lonely, or we're not of use, or people are ignoring us, or they take us for granted, or they don't take us seriously. I mean, all those things all those negative kind of separate emotions that we go through are self-induced. They are. They don't come from anyone else. If someone tells you you're wrong, why do you have to believe them? And yet we do. When someone says, I don't like what you just did, who cares? I mean, why do we care? Don't take that to the nth degree. I don't mean we should just do what we want, that we should go down the street, doing whatever we want, because who cares? But we need to drop back a little bit from reacting to everything as if it hurts us, as if it's an arrow in the chest. When someone says, I don't think what you did was very good. Well, they don't know why you did it. They don't know what the story was behind it. They don't know. They're judging only what they see, and they're judging it through their own filter of what they think is right and wrong, and what they were doing that morning, and everyone has these. I like to think of everyone as having like a tail, literally a tail behind them that follows them. And in that tail is comprised of what we've just done, who we know, what we've learned, what we thought, what we've been taught. It's like we have a history. It's a history tale. And so everything that we do in this moment is based on whatever we've done, whoever we came from. What experience did I just have? I walk up to someone in the street and they go, "Hey, Chevy, how you doing?" And you're like, "Rrr," because just a minute ago you got a call about something that was not good, or you lost your job, or you got a ticket, or whatever, and you just don't pay attention to them, and they walk away thinking, Chevy doesn't like me. I thought he was my friend, and you're not willing to talk about what happened because you're still in the middle of it. They were so open that they were easily hurt, And then we walk off. You don't remember it. They do. They come back a week later and say, "Chevy, what happened?" And you go, "What?" "Well, the other day I saw you, and you were this." And you go, "Did I see you?" Because you were so in your head, you didn't even remember seeing them. And then they feel bad again because, well, gee, how could Chevy be my friend? He doesn't remember me. It just goes on and on and on. Exactly. So that's why we shouldn't jump to conclusions. We should our brains are so good. What our brains are really good at is identifying, judging, and I call it putting the box up on the shelf. And then we don't think about it anymore. It's like we dealt with it. Okay, this happened. Okay, this is my interpretation. These are the emotions I feel. I put it in a box and put it on the shelf. And then later on I may take the box back off and say, "You see, do you remember this?" If we practice a little bit more of not coming to a conclusion right away, just like, turn the head sideways. Huh? I wonder what that was about. I don't know. Maybe I'll find out later. And not go to that place of judgment, shame, and hurt, and all of that. Because it's not real. They're just thoughts. Our thoughts are nothing. We think our thoughts are so important. It's so funny. It really is. We think our purpose on this life is to think thoughts. And if I can think really great thoughts, then I'm going to do great things. So I'm always trying to figure out what's going on and what can I do. And, if I just figured out how to, whatever, we seem to think our purpose is to have important thoughts so that we're important people. There are some that believe in this world that thoughts don't even come from us, that thoughts are universal, that it's like a well of ideas, and our brains are kind of like a radio. And we tune into a channel, and our brain starts to connect with that channel of thoughts that aren't from us.
Yikes.
You know? So that's an interesting little thing to play with. But the degree that I think is helpful to take that to is that our thoughts aren't all that important. And quite frankly, most of the time, we're at least slightly wrong, if not completely wrong. You know? And in Buddhism, the most famous saying in Buddhism is, "Are you sure?" 3 words. Remember I said 3 words are profound? Are you sure? And you have to answer with that with, no, I'm not, because I don't have a large enough view to see everything that's related to any one instant in this world. We think we do. We think we know. We think that we can judge things in a split second and make a decision, and that decision will be right if we're smart enough, if we're informed enough, if we, if. But in reality, we don't know. And honestly, it's okay not to know. It doesn't make us dumb or stupid or less of a person. You know, I think the big questions in life, why are we here? What's my purpose? All of that. Those are things that we shouldn't even, it's great to ask them, but I don't think we should try and answer them. I think we should just let them be. Let them be an open question that you live with. Live the question and never answer it. And eventually, the question will go away. And that's the answer to the question, is when the question's no longer there. Because you're not asking it anymore, so apparently it's not important. It just happens that way. It's funny. I think everything is like that. That's been, to some degree, my experience, that all of those heavy, heavy questions, I really don't care much about anymore. I mean, I think they're interesting, and I think they're